Ito yan ang highlight. Game live na. Naka-live na tayo, no? At shoutout na naman kay kay Jack Arvano at Michael D. At live tayo ngayon, no? Last 2 Minutes Podcast, special episode kasama natin ang buong team. At si The Baseline PH lang, wala. Boleros Lifestyle, Sports Icon PH, Nash, Basketball TV at D Sports TV. At yun, magandang gabi sa inyo lahat, mga kapatid. So ayun, no? At ito, mainit pa rin yung usapin natin, no? Tungkol dito kay Ray Parks. At nabalitaan nyo na nga siguro na lumapit na itong si Ray Parks kay Coach Chot Reyes. At nakipag-usap na. At gusto niya munang no? Lumayo dito sa PBA. At parang gusto niyang maglaro muna sa abroad. Pero ang problema nga, kung papayagan ba siya ng FIBA, no? Dahil bago siya payagan ng FIBA, kailangan muna na ng clearance ng mother team niya, Talk and Text, then PBA, then SBP bago yung FIBA, no? Pero mamaya itatanong natin yan dahil ngayong gabi meron tayong special guest, isang FIBA agent, no? So itatanong natin dito, no, sa ating special guest na kung possible ba na maglaro itong si Ray Parks sa mga other leagues abroad, no? Wala tayo. Okay ba yung audio natin, mga sir, sa mga viewers, no? Paki-check lang po, ano. At in 2 minutes daw papasok na yung ating special guest. Asa ba si Bolero? Nawala pa. At shoutout muna kay Veralo Gaming, Edgar Balili, at Erwin Salmingo. Ayan. At Nash Basketball TV, magandang gabi daw, sabi ni Michael D. Dinig. Asa na si Bolero? Tinatanong ni Jack Arbano, no, kung may nakalive pa daw ba sa inyo. So yan, no, pa-check lang, ano. Wala daw audio yung mga kasama ko. Naka-recording tayo naman, no? Bro Bolero, magsalita ka muna ano? Para ma-check ko yung audio.
Ayun guys, again magandang gabi. Salamat sa pagsama sa amin ngayon sa Sabado weekend edition. So, kumbaga parang inuman session to ng last 2 minutes podcast. So, complete lineup, first 5. Wala yung head coach natin si The Baseline PH. Head coach pa si The Baseline PH. Ayun. So sa mga viewers natin,
Coach Ansay.
Ay, ako yun eh. Oh?
Kala ko Jollibee ka, bro.
Hindi, mascot yun. Pero pwede rin akong coach Ansay, tatang eh, no?
Bro Bolero, nakita mo na yung, yung PM ko sa group natin.
Teka lang, medyo pinagpapawisan ng inyong lingkod at mainit-init ngayong Sabadong
Veralo Gaming, no? Nagpa-flood na tayo, no? Konti lang naman tayo rito, no? Kaya okay lang kahit na hindi na paulit-ulit yung ano. Shoutout naman kita, Veralo Gaming. Magandang gabi.
copy bro, copy.
Anytime daw, papasok na yung ating special guest.
I think actually si Mr. Sam, Joey Ramos, nasa room niya.
At ito na.
Ayun, so to all our viewers, again, happy Saturday, happy weekend sa inyo. Salamat sa pagsama sa amin sa Last 2 Minutes Podcast. And ngayong Sabado na to, ngayong weekend na to, we do have our very special guest, the man, or hindi lang naman mga players and coaches ang nagpapatakbo ng isang basketball organization or isang basketball league. We do have other people, other important people, as important as our players and our basketball coaches. And we do have one of the most respected people behind FIBA and our the our players as well. So he is none other than the agent of Mr. Joshua Munzon and FIBA agent as well. Good evening to you, sir, Joey Ramos. And thank you very much for joining our show.
Good evening, guys. Thank you for having me.
And sir, by the way, let me introduce myself first. This is Ultimate Bolero from Bolero's Lifestyle again. We are honored to have you in our show.
Okay, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here too.
Hey sir, I'm D Sports TV. Welcome to our show.
Kumusta, bro?
Good. How about you?
Good.
Magandang gabi sa ating mga viewers at good evening, Sir Joey Ramos. Ako nga pala si Kino ng From the Sideline.
Hey, Kino.
Good evening, Sir Joey. This is Nash Basketball Team.
Hi, Nash.
Hi sir, this is Sports Icon PH. Magandang gabi po.
Magandang gabi.
So, kumusta naman kayo, sir? And ano yung pinagkakaabalahan nyo ngayon na pandemic?
I'm still here in the Philippines right now, so quarantine, so walang magawa, di ba? But yeah, just finishing up everything with Josh Manzon and his team, and then I'll be going back to the States Thursday ng gabi, so.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Medyo lockdown nga, so wala din kang magagawa.
Yeah, for sure.
Ayun, sir, have a safe trip po. And again, sir, may isa lang po ang katanungan. Simulan ko na po. Paano po kayo na-involve sa basketball, specifically sa FIBA, and how did your journey start po?
I began. I actually took a test for FIBA in Miami, Florida, 2016. So that's when I started to become a FIBA agent. But I've always been around basketball. My father had a Filipino basketball league in the Metro Detroit area, and then I was always a part of. There's some interstate tournaments. One is called PIBNA that I've always been around, like players ever since Noy Castillo, Rob Reyes, John Arrigo, Sal Mercado, JJ Helterbrand, like a lot of the Phil-Ams like come from that interstate league. So ever since then, even Kelly Williams, Rudy Hatfield played in like my father's league growing up and everything. So yeah, I've always been around basketball and everything. So even I don't know if you've heard before, but my father even brought like Bonel Balingit, Jay Mendoza, Bong Alvarez to the States to play with us in various tournaments. So, like I said, I've always been around basketball. So, not that it's been a dream, but I'm trying to make it in this industry. It's tough, but you know, with more players like Joshua Munzon, we can make it. So,
It's actually an interesting story, sir, and it's a great thing that we had you on our show, so our viewers will be able to know specifically what you've been through and what happened. Now, it's great and it's awesome that you really grew up within uh, the basketball court itself. So it's a privilege for us to get to know you better.
oh, thanks, I appreciate it.
Curious lang ako, sir, paano kayo nagkakilala ni Joshua Monson? Paano kayo naging player agent? How did it
Um, to be honest with you, my wife now, but girlfriend at the time used to live in LA. So there's a lot of Filipinos in LA. So I was actually just searching the internet for, good Phil-Am players to possibly bring here. And it's just a funny story. We were at, it's called Citadel Outlet Malls. After like, I actually, a week before, I was asking my wife now, is Monzon a Filipino last name, And she was saying, yeah, that's Filipino. So it was just basically coincidence. Like a week or two later, I was just walking through the mall and actually saw Joshua. That was probably 2013, 2014. He had 1 year left in college, and chamba lang na, I met him, and we kept in touch. And to be honest, ever since college, whether it's ABL, Thailand, Chooks to go, I've represented him like from college until now. So, it was kind of, I don't know if I'd say like destiny, what have you, but I guess it was meant to
made
be.
in heaven?
Yep. So, it was luck, but yeah, things are meant to be for a reason. So,
Yeah, actually nakita namin yung quality ng laro ni Joshua Monson. Pero nung way back, kumusta ba si Joshua Monson? Ano yung first impression mo sa kanya?
um, I know for sure, the Philippines big guards always have a chance, but ever since, yeah, parang nagpainog talaga, I think, with ABL and Thailand. Because with ABL, it's like a 6-7 month season. What people don't know. So right after that, he'd go home for 1 month, and then he'd go play in Thailand for another 2-3 months. So, nagpainog talaga for those 2 years, I'd say. And I saw his game really grow because in ABL, he plays as an import, in Thailand, also an import. So there's a lot expected from him. So I just really saw his game grow. To be honest, I've watched every game he's played, whether it's ABL, Thailand, Chooks to go. I've watched every game he's played throughout his career. So, I'm looking forward to seeing him perform in the PBA. And like I've told people, there's a lot of expectations for Joshua, but in my opinion, he's not your typical rookie. He's not just coming straight from college like a lot of the players here in the PBA. Has experience as a pro already. So, the expectations are high, but he deserves, the praise and, you know, big expectations that's looked upon him. So I'm looking forward to see what he can do with Terra Firma this year.
Yes, we agree on that. And we are also looking forward kung ano yung magiging performance niya sa Terra Firma, sa PBA.
Yep,
From
definitely.
the side?
Sir Joey, speaking of Joshua Monzon, bago siya mapunta ng ABL at dito ng sa Pilipinas, may mga other league ba siyang tinignan like Europe or China or Australia?
Um, Not really. To be honest, it was that was the plan. Magpahinog siya sa ABL and Thailand. Like I said, that's 9 to 10 months per year, ABL and Thailand, where you're expected to perform, or else just like any import in Europe or wherever, if you don't perform, you get sent home. The contracts aren't guaranteed, so if you look at his resume, he's always performed and improved each year. So with um with the competition in the ABL and with the Asian import, what's expected, I knew he's gonna grow. So that was basically, what was available to him and the good opportunities for him right out of college were ABL in Thailand.
Salamat, Sir Joey. Nash Basketball TV.
Joey, speaking of Joshua Munson pa rin, no? Outside the basketball court, ano po yung character ni Joshua Munson?
Um, Honestly, we've always got along, great communication, but he's really laid back, and I've always made it a point to him, especially when he came here and he learned with Chooks, like just to be humble, and I've told him that he's he's in this position for a reason, and accept the fans, and learn Tagalog and be humble, and everything will work out. He's a really good kid. I can't complain with anything, through these last 5 years that I've represented him. But yeah, he's a family man. You guys probably know he has an 11-month-old daughter now, so and he's looking to bring his family here after this pandemic as soon as possible, so that he has support in the PBA. So
Thank you, sir.
Right, Sir Joey, I actually, some of us or most of us will not be able to know, or we only know the players itself. But can you please tell us a brief description or of a responsibility on how it is important to actually have an agent for a player to be represented by an agent?
um, it is important, for me. A player should basically just worry about playing, shouldn't have to worry and stress about contract negotiations and things like that. Like here's Josh, to be honest, Josh's second year with Malaysia, we kind of had a dispute with, his salary and everything, and we kind of held out for a month or so. But, for any player, any player needs advice, and, shouldn't worry about negotiations and stress. I'd say, yeah, stress. It's just stress, for the player to negotiate and what have you. But player should just be able to go out there and do what he loves to do, and just show what he has.
So if the player plays all year round, your responsibility is all year round as well, right? So you have the
Yeah,
same weight of
definitely.
responsibility. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir. Thank you so much.
no problem.
Sa akin naman sir, question lang. Kasi alam namin yung mayang agent eh. Pero what's the difference between a FIBA agent and a regular agent? Is there a difference or
Really, the difference is that FIBA agents get paid by the team. So basically, any league around the world except for the NBA, the team usually pays basically 10% on top of their salary. So like that, I've never asked any money like some like Filipino agents here from Josh from his sahod, So I've always been paid by the team, whether it was ABL, Thailand, what have you. So that's really the main difference within the agents here and a FIBA agent. So
okay, that's interesting. Thank you sir. But another follow-up question. Paano po ba maging FIBA agent? What is the
it's
process?
it's basically a test. I believe I took my test in Miami, Florida, but I believe there's like in Europe, I'm not sure Asia, but there's different regions of the world where you can take the test and become certified, and of course you have to pay a fee every year. So that's
Oh,
the yep. So but yeah, basically that's it. You take a test, you become certified, and you pay a fee every year. So that's basically it.
thank you sir.
Sir Joey, bilang isang FIBA agent, meron na ba tayong mga dito no sa Pilipinas na mga players natin, mga local players natin na sinusubukan yung dalhin ngayon sa abroad para maglaro sa ibang liga?
As of right now, no. Last year, before the Japan B League made the rules, medyo malabo yung rules nila because this is the first year they had Asian import. But I was trying to offer Joshua Monzon and actually one GDL, Gomez Deliano. So, but then at the last minute, they made a rule where you can't be a dual passport holder like Josh is US and Filipino. And Juan GDL is actually, a lot of people don't know, he's Filipino and Spanish. He has a Spanish passport also. So they made a rule where it has to be just Philippine passport. So I would have had, honestly, I would have had a deal for both of them in Japan, but yeah, they, at the last minute they changed the rules about only holding one passport, one Asian passport. So that's why they weren't allowed to play. Even players like Bobby Parks, yeah. A lot of the Philams who are dual citizens, they're not eligible to play in Japan B League.
Speaking of Bobby Ray Parks Jr., Sir Joey, alam niyo naman po siguro, no, yung case niya ngayon, may possible pa rin po ba na makapaglaro siya sa B-League? As not as a local player, or not as a Asian import?
The thing in the B League is they don't, only a few teams take guards. Mostly it's big men, 6'7", 6'8", 6'10", and above. So, in my opinion, is there a chance? There's always a chance, but the best bet would be if he could have been an Asian import. But and I believe that I've heard that he has Philippine and U.S. passports, so that makes him ineligible to be an Asian import. But yeah, most of the teams, especially in the B1, B2, they want big guys, big men for 4 and 5 positions. So of course there's no definite he can't, but he belongs in the PBA.
Sports Icon?
Bukod sir sa height, ano pa yung mga hinahanap ng mga kupunan na skills sa mga players para maging Asian imports or world imports?
From my talks, I have a partner in Japan. From my talks, they like yung kulang sa kanila, like big wings, like kind of like that 36'2", 6'3". So that's why, like in an article with Spin, I mentioned like Kobe Pras, Renza Bando, I think like Dave Ildefonso, even though Richie Rivera's smaller, I think he has a chance, so I think more wing players, number two, number three shooting guard, small forward players, in my opinion, are the ones that have a good chance there that syempre magagaling, di ba?
Yes, sir. So malaki talaga yung chance kung sakali ng mga likes nila Calvin Oftana, William Navarro, with their height and skills as a small forward. Maganda sana kung
Maganda sa, I believe William Navarro has dual passport, so with Greaser, that's what I've heard. So I don't think he's eligible, but yeah, I think if Oftana, I think he had a chance, but now he's in the PBA, so that's not gonna happen. But yeah, like those names, even like JD Tungkab, he had an offer there, but due to COVID. But yeah, that's from what I've heard. Most of the teams want big guards or big wings. So.
big wings. For William Navarro, I think I had a conversation with him previously, and he holds only Philippine passport.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
But unfortunately, he's in the PBA right now.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. So I think a lot of the the Gilas players have a chance. Like I said, Sean and Ildefonso, but their commitment seems to be with Gilas until 2023. So will it happen? I don't think they can do both. So they'll have to choose if they get an offer in Japan. So of course, playing with Gilas, it's a big honor. So you can't blame players for wanting to do that, go that route.
Yep, that's for playing for the country.
Yeah, for sure. You never know, Olympics and then, Asia Cup, and then in the future, yeah, World Cup. So it's a big honor too. So.
Sir, I have a question. Skills wise, basically at par po um at par po ba yung mga local players natin to play abroad? Uh, Not specifically in Asia, but in Europe, will they be able, since you're actually well-traveled, sir, do you think the talent and the skills of the Filipino local players will flourish abroad po?
I think they can, but I think the problem with like going to Europe and what have you is that Europe has like most European countries have like juniors and different levels, like Division 1, 2, 3, 4. So the players are training for those big leagues since they're teenagers. They're not really going to college and what have you.
Starting
So
them young.
yeah, so if a player goes there late, there's plenty of players that have been in the systems beforehand. But like playing Division 1, I think there's players here for sure that can play Division 1 in the States. No doubt in my mind. We have good guards, and like they say, speed. We don't. Maybe some aren't the tallest, but speed kills, and there's plenty of 6 foot guards playing Division 1. But the talent wise, I think there's plenty of players that can go and play Division 1 or Division 2. But sometimes half the battle is taking the risk, because it is a risk going to the States. You don't know anybody, and what if you go like Kobe Russ? You go and Bangkok for the first year. How players are going to deal with it being far from home? But talent wise, of course, there's this basketball rich country, so the best players here can play definitely in other countries. That's why I'm excited for like Japan. There's only 3 players who are Asian imports there, but they're all 3 doing well. So I see next year more teams being open to signing Asian imports.
And do you think it's time for us to adapt to the European training ground wherein sa kanila po kasi 'di ba po 16 years old pa lang professional na, they're playing in their own divisions. Do you think it's time for the Filipino to adapt it? Kasi alam naman po natin na sa Philippines 25, 26 nasa UAAP or college level playing field pa po.
Um, I mean, do I think so? I'm not like a definite yes or no. I mean, if PBA, I think PBA is doing a good job, even with D League. It's good having the D League for exposure and everything. Any league, of course they can do more, but I don't see anything wrong with the way PBA is doing things right now with the D League every year and the PBA. But just different countries are different, so there's not enough players here to have like 4 divisions, or like I said, some countries players don't play in college, but here college basketball is huge. So there's good points and bad points, but yeah, I don't see anything wrong. It's we're kind of like the States. College basketball is huge here in the Philippines too, UAP and CAA, so it's a good training ground also. So I don't see anything wrong with how we do it here. It's kind of like in the States. So.
Joey, back in the US, are we seeing a lot more Phil-American players that will eventually play here in the PBA or maybe in the national team?
I think so. There's plenty of Filipinos playing even Division 1, Division 2, small college in the States. But for me, the big question is, like you see with a lot of players now, is their paperwork. It doesn't really matter if you can play or how good you are, but the paperwork. That's what I tell the players is number one. Luckily, with Josh Monzon, his father was still a Filipino when he was born, so the paperwork wasn't really a problem for us to get done. It's always that's basically what it is. For Philams, the paperwork sometimes is a hassle. So it all depends. That's the first thing. When I look for good Philams, first thing I ask is, let me see your papers. So let me see how easy or how hard it's gonna be. So, but yeah, there's plenty of players, and hopefully I'll be bringing more in the future here. But plenty of players that are with Filipino blood that are playing NCAA.
Thank you, sir.
Sir Joey, speaking of local hoopers, no, kanina, at ang isa nga sa talagang ang future ng basketball ng Pilipinas, itong si Kai Soto. In your own opinion, Sir Joey, ready na ba si Kai? Kung ngayon, no, ready na ba si Kai makapag-NBA kung halimbawa ngayon 2021 siya magpapadrop sa NBA?
For me, with Kai Soto, for me, in my opinion, there's no rush. Like I think, yeah, he should magpahinog siya, whether it's Europe. I think that G League would have been a great opportunity for him. Like even for Americans, even if you play Division 1 and average 15, 20 points, it's not a sure thing you can make the G League in the States. It's not, and especially the NBA too. So I think, yeah, top level Europe or like that Japan or that G League. To be honest with you, I really wish we would have saw him play in the G League this year. I think it could have opened up a lot of doors. That's the gateway to the NBA. So I'm not saying they did wrong, whatever. Maybe he followed his heart and what he wanted to do, but I would have liked to see him play there or in Europe, top level. Because from what I heard, he had offers from top teams in Europe also. So that would have been a good route for him too. Even like I heard Real Madrid offered him, and he would have trained under Kristaps Porzingis trainer, things like that. But it's not the end of the world for him. He's only 18, 19 years old, so there's a long way for him to go. For me, a lot of players go to the NBA when they're 19 or 20, but not all of them do. Whether it takes him till he's 22, 23, like as long as he reaches his goal and gets there and improves, you can tell the kid works hard. So it's just his management getting him in the right situation where he can succeed, and he's gonna improve no matter what. That he's got the talent, he's got the height, so it's all about him improving. Yeah. So for me, it doesn't matter whether he's 19 or 21, 22, 23. When he goes to NBA, basta he should be ready. I think he has a chance.
How about Sir Joey, Kai Soto playing in Japanese B-League? Pag naglaro ba si Kai Soto sa Japanese B-League, may chance na umangat yung kanyang draft stock?
Oh, I definitely think so. Like I said, most of the imports in the B League, especially the B1, are 6'9", 6'10", 7 foot. So like every night he's gonna go against these borderline NBA players. A lot of the players in Japan, especially B1, are former NBA players. So of course it'd be a good stepping stone for him. To show what he can do.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Sir Joey. Speaking of NBA, may pag-asa ba makalaro si Jordan Clarkson as local sa FIBA World Cup 2023?
That's actually funny. When I was I forget the name, but when I was at my FIBA class, I talked to the director, and from my understanding, what they said, they're not looking to change the rule of the passport by 16 years old anytime soon. To be honest, that's what they told me. So for me, in my opinion, I don't see why they don't take him as the naturalized player. In my opinion, I mean, he's the best Filipino in the world, so why not take him as the naturalized player? That's just my opinion. But if I was head of SBP, that's what I'd try to do. But of course, they say there's a lot of things involved, even with insurance, because he's an NBA player, insuring him to play, and if he gets hurt and everything. So maybe there's things stopping that. But of course, me thinking as a fan, I'd want him to be the naturalized player for the Philippines. Since
Yep. Yes, Sir Joey. You want to say something?
no, it's okay.
Okay. Going back to B-League, halimbawa sir, may nangangarap na basketball player. Ano po ba yung proseso para makapasok sa B-League? And gaano ito katagal? And for the viewers' knowledge na lang, ano po ba yung salary range? If possible lang na malaman ng isang Asian import.
It depends. To be honest, if it's B1, a player could make anywhere from, and as an Asian import, a Filipino can make anywhere from $10,000 a month to $30,000 a month in as long as a B1 is the top league, you know, and B2 will be lower, of course, below 10,000, I'd say. So anyway, it could be 4 to 8 or something like that. B2, but you know, in B1, they can make money for the future and be able to save, and you know, I'm sure 30 Ravenna is making pretty good money right now. So, of course,
course.
that's probably why his brother wants to go, diba?
Yeah, even Kiefer. So for those for all the viewers, practice na kayo and sayo, magandang opportunity for basketball players ngayon na open ang Japan B-League sa mga Asian imports.
Sir
Sir
Joey,
Joey,
sorry.
sorry.
Yes, guys,
Go,
Nash.
go, go, Kino. Go, Kino.
May nag-message lang po sa akin na sorry. Sir Joey, may nag-message lang sa akin, no. Tinatanong kung sinubukan daw ba tulad nila Terence Romeo or at Japet Aguilar na makapag Japan B-League.
From what I've heard, no. But well, from what I've heard, I can get Terrence Romeo a job there next year. But you know, he's in the PBA. Terrence Romeo is known in Japan from, of course, the national team. But he became popular there too. I believe he played 3-on-3 there also in Japan in the past. So Terrence Romeo he's known in Japan. So if he wanted to go, you know, I'm sure he's making good money here, and you know, things are, you know, loves it in the PBA. But if he wanted to go, he can go.
May lumapit na po ba dito kay Terence Romeo?
From what I know, I don't know, to be honest, but I know he's known talaga in Japan. Like, you know, they know him talaga there. So if he was dead set on going and needed my help, I'll help him. But he could go definitely.
Sana nakikinig si Terence Romeo sa atin.
Pasingit na question
Kailangan
lang
mo,
mga
bro.
bro. Pasingit lang na question. Regarding po sa contracts, kasi alam naman natin na usually PBA players meron yan mga 2 years, 3 years contract or yung mga naiimbitahan ng Japan B-League is under contract with a certain PBA team. Do they do buyouts? Yung mga Japan B-League teams?
You're saying like Kiefer's situation, something like that?
Yep. Is it possible for them to buy out their contract?
I'm not sure if they could. I'm sure the economy and sponsorship in Japan is good, but I don't. From my understanding, I haven't heard anything like them doing buyouts. But the thing with the PBA, if you're under contract, like with Kiefer, with him being under contract, he's not just under contract with his team. He's under contract to play in the PBA. I believe he signed a 3-year deal last November. So like, you know, if he wanted to go there, he shouldn't have signed that 3-year deal. He should have, you know, worked it out beforehand. But it's gonna be hard. He's basically committed. When you sign any player 2-3 years, you're committing also to the PBA. So I think it's gonna be difficult for him to go.
Yep, agree. Yes, bro Ramel?
So Joey, do you think Kobe Paras can showcase his basketball skills if he will play in Japanese B-League?
I definitely think he can. I mean, he has the height, he has the athleticism. Of course, like a lot of young players, maybe the only thing you could say is he could improve his 3-point shooting, but it's all there, you know. That's why when he was recruited in the States, he was a 4-star recruit. You know, they base the recruits in the States by 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. So he was a 4-star recruit, even though he went to the States late. That's a big thing. And Creighton's they're a nationally renowned team. Usually they're top 25 team. So he was in a big program, you know. So things didn't work out for him. I guess when he transferred schools to where was it? Is it Cal State Northridge? Was it?
Cathedral.
No, college. When he after Creighton, he went to, I believe, Cal State Northridge. But the coach, he's a former NBA player,
Reggie Tias.
Yeah, he was fired. So I know that's the time he came back. But he's got the talent, of course. You know, you can't teach, especially bihira lang siya, he's a wing player na 6'6", like bihira lang yun sa Philippines, so he's got the tools, definitely.
Ultra athletic dunker.
Yeah, definitely. So he's got all the tools to succeed. Like I said, I've actually chatted with him in the past through text, but I believe he told me, he has goals still at UP, and he'd like to play there and finish out there and hopefully win a championship before he turns pro. So
Thank you.
So, sir, with regard to Filipinos going to abroad, let's now go back to you bringing Filipino players here. Since you've told us that it's a long history, bringing in Noy Castillo, is it more difficult before compared to now, bringing in
um,
talents?
I didn't bring those players. I was saying I've been around all the Philams that have come here back then, But what's your question? Is it difficult bringing Filipinos in now?
Yes po, dahil po sa mga eligibility requirements, lalo na
Um,
especially nangyari ngayon.
I believe it's been the same since since the Phil Shams, or since the last 10 years. Like, yeah, to be honest, I feel bad for some of the Filipinos, but like any league in the world, rules are rules. So if they want DOJ and recognition, that's what you have to give to be allowed to play. And of course, the PBA doesn't want are avoiding like fake Filipinos or fake documents, what have you. So, anything is possible, but they want Filipinos talaga, and rules are rules. So it's the same basically. That those DOJ and recognition have been the rules since, I believe, yeah, at least 10 years now or so. So I don't have any problem with it, but it makes it harder as an agent, of course, to find players and do their paperwork. But I don't have any problem with the PBA rules. We've got plenty of Philams that have come here and succeeded. So
Yes, going back to B-League, alam naman natin yung proseso sa PBA medyo complicated for Philams. How about ano naman yung proseso ng mga Filipino players going to B-League? Kasi alam naman natin yung kay JD Tungkab medyo nagka-issue ata sa visa. So,
I think his visa issues was just because of COVID. I was hearing that, yeah, it takes 1 or 2 months to do it. I believe it took a couple months. So basically, in his situation, he probably wasn't gonna get the visa in time. I believe end of March was the deadline to change rosters in B League. So that's probably the case where his visa was gonna take too long, and then overlapped with the deadline of lineups in Japan. So that's just my opinion. What I think happened probably, and of course now it's different times with COVID and everything. Some consulates are closed and what have you. So yeah, he probably did have visa issues, of course. But the eligibility wise, yeah, basically, if it wasn't COVID right now, it's basically, like I said, Philippine passport, and yeah, getting the visa usually is easy, but different times now with COVID and everything. So now hopefully next year everything's back to normal. So there's a lot of leagues that I deal with even in Asia that even like PBA with no imports, and other leagues in Asia that just didn't push through like ABL. But yeah, like I said, hopefully next year everything gets back to normal. Even the PBA, with it's been difficult on a lot of Asian countries. So
yep, and a lot of loss opportunities as well for the players and the agents. But since you mentioned that there's a pandemic, how's the market right now for basketball players? Regarding the salary, meron ba negotiation na babaan muna natin yung salary because it's pandemic, or still the same na
in regards
same
to
pa rin?
what league, in regards to what leagues you're talking
To the
about?
market itself, to the
Uh,
to the FIBA market itself, to the basketball market itself in the world.
mm, I've placed a couple players in Europe, South America, but this year's just difficult. Like a lot of players are taking less money than they usually have taken just to have a job. So it's really difficult, even especially I'd say on like rookies, first, second year players. There's a lot of the European countries, the lower leagues, they weren't having leagues. And yeah, I know plenty of players, good players, even players who played in the PBA as imports. You know, Tons of players are taking less money this year just because of the pandemic. So everyone needs a job. So either you stay at home or you take less money. It's up to the player.
So is it harder to negotiate right now?
No, definitely it's harder to negotiate. Like Japan's like it's one of the countries that's doing well, even Taiwan like that. But across Asia, yeah, besides Taiwan, Japan, China, like you know, it's difficult. Even Europe, South America, there's tons of leagues that usually every year they have leagues, but just didn't go through this year with the pandemic. So that's why there wasn't as many jobs this year for a lot of players, whether veterans, like I said, rookies. I think with rookies, first, second year players, maybe struggled the most. A lot of players are just sitting at home.
Yep. So
Sir,
hopefully everything will be back to normal. Yep.
sir, the pandemic really hit us hard, right? Sir, may
Mm.
question lang po with one of our viewers. Do you have any nababalitaan na mga leagues na mag-open ngayon kahit pandemic pa, or talagang strictly yung mga leagues medyo nag-trim down sa operation nila?
Um, I'd say, what was the question again? Our leagues,
May nababalitaan po ba kayo na mag-open na liga within international or within Asia, or talagang strictly na hit talaga ng pandemic, and yung operations nila, like for example 3 conferences, 2 conferences na lang, or paikliin na lang po yung
okay.
span?
I heard ABL is thinking about doing like 1 month tournaments, like bubbles in Vietnam, like that. But to be honest, this is towards the end of the year now for whether it's Asia, Europe, South America. Usually leagues are done by around May. So this is really like the last quarter of basketball leagues all across the world, honestly. So um, hopefully next fall, um, you know, end of this year, hopefully everyone's got vaccines. And as long as everyone's got the vaccine and everything, I don't see why uh, all the leagues in Asia will open up.
Balik ako dito sa B-League, Sir Joey, ano, at ito si Thirdy Ravenna, alam naman natin na naging roller coaster yung kanyang kampanya diyan sa San Antonio Phoenix. Nagkaroon siya ng injury, then ngayon babalik na nga siya sa April. May chance pa ba na i-resign siya ng San Antonio Phoenix or ibang team sa Japanese B-League next season?
In my opinion, from what I've heard, he's done well. He's done what's expected. So, in my opinion, from what I've heard, there's a chance for sure for him to get signed again. So it's up to him. Some players just some players their dream is to play in the PBA. Some players want to go abroad. Who knows? He can. He showed his talent in Japan. Maybe he'll come back here, but I think he can get signed again next year in Japan. From what I've heard.
Parang kung hindi nga ako nagkakamali, parang this the last chance ni Thirdy Ravenna. Ano na lang ako bro, no? Mga kapatid ko dito sa Last Few Minutes Podcast. Correct na lang ako, no? Parang this the last chance ni Thirdy Ravenna. Pag hindi siya nagpa-draft yata sa PBA next year, mababa na ba siya?
I've heard of that rule. Yeah, that you have to get drafted. Even like the chicks to go guys, like Alvin, Santi, Josh, Frankie, they waited the 2 years because they played with chooks. So that's a rule with PBA. But you know, um, I believe 30 talked to the commissioner of the PBA, and it's for him and his management to talk to the PBA and tell them what their goals are. So I do understand. From my understanding, that is the rule, but let's see, huh?
Yeah, actually, Sir Joey is right. As long as magpaalam ka sa PBA na maglalaro ka and meron kang valid contract sa ibang liga, allowed ka and hindi ka mababan.
Mm,
Pero kung
okay.
wala kang gusto mo lang talagang umiwas sa draft, then that's the time na yun nga, bibigyan ka ng punishment at bibigyan ka ng ban.
Okay. It's
Thank
good
you,
to know.
these words.
It's good to know. It's good to know.
Bronesh?
Ano muna, si Bro Rain muna siguro or Bro?
It's just that I have other questions with regard to other players that you represent. Who are they, if I may ask, sir? Within the Philippine boundaries, sir. Like, who are the players that you're representing right now, for the
Um,
sake of the viewers?
to be honest with you, for Filipinos, Joshua Monzon's the only player I'm representing right now. I've been concentrating more on imports, more, yeah, even PBA, ABL, like, but for Filipinos, yeah, I'm open to representing, excuse me, more Filipinos. But of course, like any agent, you want high talent level client base. So I know what Josh, what kind of player Josh is and what he's gonna do. So, like I said, not against any other players, but syempre, I'm from the States, so it's not really worth it for me unless to come to the Philippines and travel and everything unless the player's good, you know. So that's any agent's goal, to represent good players. So of course I'm open to representing a lot of Filipino players, whether PBA, Japan. But as of right now, yeah, I've been concentrating on Joshua and imports mostly in Asia, but also I also have a couple players here and there, Europe, and I've placed players all over Europe, South America, but yeah, a lot in PBA, ABL. So Josh is the man right now.
Yeah, and it is hearing your stories, sir. It is an admirable job that you're doing, and it says it's not an easy task because you're dealing with players all around the globe. So I would like to say my appreciation for me as a basketball lover personally.
I appreciate you.
May pahabol na tanong lang ako dito kaya Sir Joey, ano. At yun nga, nabanggit niya si Joshua Monzon. Sa ngayon po ba, meron kayong hinahawakan na player na next Joshua Monzon na madadala nyo rito sa Pilipinas?
I'm working on it. So next time we talk, there's time till next D League and MPBL. So next time we talk, hopefully I have a surprise for you guys. But I'm working on a a couple Philams that I believe are gonna, succeed here also.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I have some few questions. First one, unang-una, si John Harper Jr., the youngest player sa B-League, Japan B-League na nag-debut at 17 years old. Do you think any Filipinos at that age, especially dun sa mga Gilas cadets ngayon, is capable to do the same?
Who are you talking about? Ron Harper Jr.?
Ron Harper Jr., the youngest player currently in Japan B-League at 17 years old.
Oh, really? I'm not really familiar. You're not talking about Ron Harper Jr. playing in Rutgers in United States, no?
No, that's a different guy. It's a
Okay.
This one is a field. This one is a half Japanese player. So my question is, at 17 years old, he played professional basketball. Do you think any Filipinos can do that in Japan B League as well? Like the likes of
17 years old.
Lebron Lopez. Yeah.
I haven't seen LeBron Lopez play, but from what I've heard, he's got all the tools, 6'7", what have you. But in my opinion, 17's too young. You're going against like that. Like I said, there's almost every team in B1 has a former NBA player. So, for a Filipino to go there at 17 years old, I don't think that will happen, to be honest.
Maybe too young. And magpahinga muna.
Yeah, Filipinos, not saying they mature late, but yeah, you have to, even like Kai Soto, like I said, there's no rush for him to go to the NBA. It's magpainog muna. When he's ready, he'll be ready. There'll be a time that like Kai Soto is ready. Doesn't matter if it's 20, 21, 22, 23, but there'll be a time he's ready. Like for me, if you're gonna go to Japan, like just like the PBA, like with Josh, he's 26 now. Hinog na, hinog na. Like you have to be ready to go to international league, not still learning and what have you. You know, so.
Okay.
And
May another question is maraming PBA players ang nakaka-receive ng mga offers from B-League pero I don't think na official offers ito. Like sina
Mhm.
Calvin Abueva na rumors noon. Pero bakit kaya hindi tinatanggap ng mga players or hindi kinahagat, hindi ina-accept ng mga PBA players yung offer from Japan B-League? And I think si Terdy Ravenna ang unang player na naglakas ng loob na pumunta sa B-League.
I think it's easier for the younger players like 30 without a family like that. Like once you're in the PBA and a veteran, you know, usually you have a family, you have kids, so mahirap talagang lumayo, diba? So I think that's one of the factors that, you know, makes it difficult. And Japan, their season is long. It's 9, 10 months, 9 months plus the playoffs. So, you know, it's basically the whole year you're gone. So I think that's maybe one major factor in, you know, leaving the country, leaving your family for 10 months of a year. So I think that's definitely one factor.
Yes, I think that's a valid point. And my last question, sir. I think YouTubers are one of the best coaches in in the social media platform. In case meron po kaming isa-suggest o i-refer na player sa inyo, ano yung mga kailangan nyo na makita para hawakan nyo or kayo yung mag-represent na agent?
Um, I know most of the players, the locals here, but you know, with Philams, it's mostly about video. You know, whether full game highlights, like you could tell, you know, if they have talent. And there's an agent website I use, Eurobasket, so I can see all their stats and everything, every game by game. I can check their stats and but yeah, with Philams, it's mostly film and how well they've done in college. Same thing here, you know, how well they've done in college and how they've grown every year. So that's basically what it is. You know how everyone knows. You know, if, like your Philippines, if you have height for your position, you know that's not half the battle, but you know, tall guards are good, tall wings are good. You know, and height as a big man, you know, in the Philippines, if you're 6'6" and above, you're gonna have a chance, diba?
Yes, sir. So, pag may nakilala ko, sir, na halimbawa mga 6'7", 7-footer, i-refer ko lang sa inyo and
Filipino ba yan
manage lang.
or
Yes,
American?
Filipino.
Oh, sure, why not?
Ayan po. Thank you, sir. Nice to know that.
Yep, thanks.
Last na tanong sa akin, Sir Joey. Kilala niyo ba si Stephen Holt?
Yeah, I followed him. I actually know his former agent in the States. But yeah, I followed him since college.
Bakit po kaya, sorry sir, bakit po kaya hindi niya naisipan na maglaro dito sa Pilipinas or sa ABL?
Like I said, maybe it's the paperwork. Maybe when I've looked at his resume, he's played in plenty of good leagues. So in my opinion, he's probably been making pretty good money. In Europe, I saw he's played in Australia and Europe most of his career. So the leagues he's played in are mostly top leagues. So definitely he's been making good money. You know, the last 5, 6 years, 7 years. So I think, you know, maybe that's the case. Maybe he had aspirations still in the NBA because he played in the G League, I believe, for a couple years. So, but I think financially, where he's been playing, he's fine. You know?
Natanong ko lang sir kasi before talagang naging mainit yung pangalan ni Stephen Holt at maraming nag-aabang sa kanyang mga Filipino basketball fans. At ngayon hindi na nga siya masyadong nadidinig dahil naglalaro na siya sa ibang bansa. Yun lang yun.
We're actually Facebook friends, but I saw recently, I believe his team just made the Final Four of FIBA Europe. So he's been doing well, and I believe in making good money. So
So that's it for me. Any question, guys?
Final question for me, before that, sir, thank you for the opportunity na makausap ka namin. Sobrang hype ako dahil si Sir Joey Ramos na isang FIBA agent, well-known na interview namin. Tanong ko lang po, sir, how confident po kayo na si Josh, given na very explosive siya, can he bring terra firma in the playoffs?
for me, in my opinion, with their lineup now, I don't see why they shouldn't make the playoffs. That's just my opinion. But if you make the playoffs in the PBA, anything can happen. So, in my opinion, they're a playoff team. So, maybe in the past years they've been down, but you know, it's all about chemistry and even talking to management, getting the players that they want, bringing them together. But yeah, I don't see why that they shouldn't be a playoff team. Definitely, I wouldn't expect anything less, to be honest.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, tingin mo, mananalong Rookie of the Year, Joshua Monson?
Well, I'm biased, so of course. But I mean, there's a lot of, like you said, this is one of the deepest drafts, they say. But with his, with seems like with how Terra Firma's going to use him, I don't see why not. That's the goal. Any player wants the team to succeed, but they also want to succeed themselves. So why not, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you. Brody.
Okay, for my last question, sir, how will you convince Filipino players to play abroad? And what do you think are the advantages if they do?
Um, I think any level of basketball, you're saying like going to Japan or
Yep.
something, what have you? Um, like with 30, I'm sure he's learned a lot. Any league you play in is different, whether you play in the G League or NCAA in the States or here in college or PBA, ABL. It's all a learning experience. That's how players improve. Like Joshua, he's ABL. You know, Thailand, even Chooks to go. Like it teaches you different things. I've been had experience in 3-on-3. 3-on-3 like really teaches you like how to create on your own and be a one-on-one player. And you can translate from any league, all your experiences you can translate it to the league you're playing in now. So, it's all experiences are good. What all around the world doesn't matter. I think if it's 5-on-5, 3-on-3, you know. So any player, that's how you improve. You play games and you learn.
Agree. Thank you, sir.
Boleros website.
Kino,
So,
by the way, Kino, I like your hat, man.
I can give it to
Go
you, sir.
blue.
Michigan, Michigan.
I'm from Michigan, so
So
Ah,
bad vibe.
yeah.
ah, maraming salamat, Sir Joey, at napagbigyan niyo po kami ma-guest kayo dito sa Last 2 Minutes Podcast. At I hope sana hindi ito yung first at last. Sana marami pang araw at hopefully kasama mo na si Joshua Monson together at the same time ma-interview ka po namin. Kayo pong dalawa.
Okay, yeah, definitely. We'll talk to Josh, and I appreciate you guys, all of you, for having me. It's been an honor to talk to you guys. It's always fun talking about basketball. So
And pasensya na po Sir Joey dahil kami po actually ay wala naman po talagang totally background sa pagiging sports journalist at grupo lang po talaga kami ng mga maliliit na sports YouTuber. Pero talagang gusto po naming matuto at marami po kaming plano sa aming grupo.
yeah, for sure. Everyone's fans first, right? So it's good talking to you guys.
Maraming
Thank you,
salamat
sir.
po.
Thank you,
Boleros
sir.
Lifestyle.
So to our viewers, again, you've already known that it's not just the players and the coaches who runs the basketball team. So it's actually time to appreciate the man behind the players and let them know and let us give respect to them because of the hard work and the passion that they display for the love of the game, right? So happy weekend, guys, enjoy the weekends, and keep safe.
Yep. Have a good
Thank you,
weekend,
sir.
guys. Thanks.
Thank you,
Thank
Sir
you, sir.
Joey.
Thank you. Bye.
Yep. Take care. Ingat.
Ingat po sa biyahe po.
Thank you. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Naka-live ka pa ba, bro?
So hindi ko pa po hindi ko pa kinakat no kasi may nakalimutan ako. Promote ko lang bukas, meron kaming interview. Frankie Johnson, di ba?
Yes, guys.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Yes,
again,
yes.
you know the time slot. Same time slot, 6 p.m. Magsasawa na kayo sa mukha-mukha namin, pero dito pa din kami para makakilala at makipagkwentuhan about sa basketball.
At
Yes.
ayun no, bukas sa Frankie Johnson at kapag wala kaming interview dito sa Last 2 Minutes Podcast at merong mga issue tayong dapat pag-usapan na maiinit na issue, asahan nyo po no kasi tinatanong ni Jack Arbano kung anong oras daw ba tayo lagi nagla-live. So biglaan na lang talaga kapag may mainit na issue. Pero usually, ang live namin na alas 6, mga ganyan ng oras, 6 or 7. So, abangan nyo lang po kami
And
sa ganyang time
Wednesday,
slot.
Friday.
Ah,
Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Yun, may mga fix kami. Then, sulpot na lang yung iba.
And since ECQ naman, malamang talagang masasamahan nyo kami at mag-enjoy kaming kausap kayo.
hanggat
Samahan nyo kami, guys.
hanggat walang Pilipinas Bismin Super Cup. Dahil kapag nagsimula na yung Bismin Super Cup, medyo baka bihira kami makapag-live, no? Pero syempre, sisingit-sisingitan natin yan, no? For the love of the game, hindi namin makakalimutan na mag-report sa inyo tungkol dito sa Philippine basketball. Lalo-lalo na yung mga maiinit na issue. At may mga gagawin ba kayo?
Wala ako. Kailan ba magsisimula yung
Hindi.
Brisbane Super Cup nga
Kasi
pala?
kahit papaano, kahit mga 15 to 20 minutes sa pag-usapan natin yung mga issue ngayon, NBA or dito Philippine basketball. Kung may time lang kayo, no, kasi etong mga viewers natin,
NBA trade line.
maraming nagtatanong dito sa mga viewers natin na hindi natin masagot kanina kasi nga meron tayong special guest. So ano masasabi nyo sa huling trade, mga huling trade na naganap sa NBA? Tapos na deadline, di ba?
Siyempre, alam ni Boleros yan.
Chicago
Bro.
Bulls winner. Saan ka pa?
Houston Rockets loser.
Nikola Vucevic, di ba? To be paired up with Zach LaVine, nandun pa si Lauri Markkanen. So, balance. Talagang binubuo sila ng team. At nakakita na ng light at the end of the tunnel yung Chicago. Yung yung Clippers naman, nakuha nila yung kailangan nila. Point guard, they're really looking for a point guard, and si playoff Rondo ang iniintay ng Clippers.
Chris
Kapalit
Paul, no?
lang.
Bumalik na si Chris Paul sa Clippers.
Oo, bumalik na si Chris Paul.
Ay, oo. Sa ano yun? Sa alternate universe. Alternate universe.
Si Rajon Rondo.
Ang ganda. Playoff Rondo yan. Playoff Rondo.
So sa mga nagtatanong, no, meron tayong 15 minutes para masagot yung inyong mga katanungan tungkol dito sa NBA, no? At 15 minutes lamang po. Gusto pa sana namin magtagal, no? Pero yun meron tayong ngayon, pagagalitan na tayo ng mga boss namin.
Pero sa show natin ngayon, ang dami kong natutunan, promise.
Yun, no, sa mga bagong pasok, no, kung hindi niyo naabutan, si Sir Joey Ramos ay isang FIBA agent na actually matagal na nating nakakausap, no. At ayun, yun kami small time lang, walang source. Ano ba masasabi nyo dito, no? Balita kay Ray Parks, na balitaan ko na nagkausap na sila ni Coach Chot Reyes at nagpapaalam itong si Ray Parks na sana payagan siyang makapaglaro sa ibang liga abroad. So, ano ba masasabi nyo rito mga brother?
Well, sana mapagbigyan. Kasi karapatan niya pa rin maglaro kasi mahal niya rin yung larong basketball. Sabihin man natin na dun yung, siyempre dun sa kumikita, pero para ikaw ay bawalan or mawalan ng karapatan maglaro ng larong gusto mo at larong mahal mo is quite an injustice. Pero sabi nga nila marami nang nangyari. Marami nang hindi mababago. Pero sana mapagbigyan in the right terms. Again, disclaimer lang, hindi kami expert. Nagbibigay lang ako ng personal kong opinion. Maraming salamat.
Ako, sunod na ako. Bago ang lahat, agree ako sinabi ni Kino, small time kami ngayon. Pero hopefully sa supportan nyo, maging big time din kami. Sana supportahan nyo kami lahat.
Ano,
Kailangan dito
ayun,
support.
singit ko lang, ano,
Lahat.
actually, etong si Brody ang ano ang pinakamataba ang utak sa amin. Actually, meron kaming ano, hindi. Hindi, marami kaming pinaplano, no? At sana yung mga plano namin, sana magkatotoo, no? Kasi ano talagang ito talaga for the love of the game talaga ito at hopefully sana no at kayong mga viewers namin syempre at nandiyan kayo sumusuporta sa amin kabilang kayo no para matupad namin yung mga plano na yan dahil kung wala kayo kung wala namang sumusuporta sa amin baka wala rin. Ayun no, this parts tuloy mo na.
Tsaka hindi naman tayo nagmamandali bro, no? Slowly but surely. And sabi nga ni Sir Joey, antayin mo nang mahinog. Hindi pa tayo hinog. So, magpapahinog muna tayo. Unti-untiin lang natin. And makakarating din tayo sa mga plano natin. And going back to Ray Parks, pasensya na sa mahabang intro. I think kay Ray Parks, nagkausap na sila ni Chot Reyes. Hindi ko nabasa yung buong article, pero ang pagkakalam ko, hindi nabanggit ni Ray Parks na maglalaro siya sa ibang liga. Ang sinabi niya lang is maglalaro out, lang siya, magpapahinga muna sa basketball. And another one na naman, kulang yung information. Kung meron pala siyang intention na maglaro sa ibang bansa, mukhang hindi pa rin aware ang kupunan niya na TNT. So I don't think na he's doing good communication with the team. Alam naman natin na lahat tataling-tali ang kanyang kamay sa tropang giga. At kung ako ang TNT, again, alam nyo na.
Malungkot, no?
Basta kung maayos na usapan and seryoso siya and sincere negotiation and full transparency.
Right term.
Pero ano bro, talagang ang nabasa ko talagang sabi niya gusto niyo munang mag one step away dito sa siguro PBA yung tinutukoy niya no at sabi nga niya na gusto niya nga maglaro sa ibang bansa. Sana daw payagan daw siya ng FIBA. So
yun nga bro, pero yung usapan nila ni Chot Reyes, hindi daw binanggit.
Ay, hindi binanggit. Ay, ibig sabihin, hindi pala kasama sa article yon. Sa article yon. Sa ibang, sa ano niya na, sinabi niya na sa ibang ano.
Ibang article yun bro.
Ay,
gusto sana payagan siya ng FIBA. Eto bro, nabasa ko. Hindi ko nabasa ng buo title pa lang. So hindi full context. Pero the gist of the story is, hindi sinabi ni Ray Parks na may intention siya na maglaro sa ibang bansa. Then, meron pala sa ibang article naman. So, parang hindi pa rin siya full transparent dito sa kupunan niya na TNT. Alam naman natin na hindi ito makapaglaro sa ibang liga hanggat wala ang basbas ng PBA at ang kanyang mother team na TNT. And kung maalala niyo yung usapan natin kanina with Sir Joey, may hirapan din si Ray Parks na makapaglaro sa B-League dahil ito nga ay dual citizen.
Sabi nga niya, di ba, tinanong natin kung pwede maglaro as an import, pero sa Japanese B-League daw talagang mga kinukuwang import, yung mga 6'8", 6'9", 6'10 pataas. So, ito daw si Bobby Ray Parks, no? Parang ang caliber nga lang daw pang Asian import, no? So, ayun, talagang mahihirapan itong si Ray Parks Jr. Mahirap, no?
Kung may magka-interest man, bro, yun nga, kung may magka-interest man dito kay Ray Parks, kailangan pa rin niya bas-bas from TNT and the PBA.
So sa mga umaasa, no, scratch out yun na yung Japanese B-League, no, dito kay Ray Parks at malabo nga daw makapaglaro si Ray Parks sa Japan B-League.
Ang toxic na rin naman kasi kung ikaw si Ray Park, toxic kasi yung pinasok niyang sitwasyon. And tamang-tama, 110% backup ako sa'yo, Brody. Kailangan niya lang maging transparent. Latag lang natin yung totoo. Kung ano sa totoo lang. Kasi alam naman natin gusto mong maglaro. Sabihan mo lang yung totoo. Para mapagbigyan ka. Kasi marami namang nandiyan naman lagi forgive di ba? Forgiveness, lahat naman nagpapatawad. And kailangan transparent lang.
Sports icon? Sports icon? Sports icon.
Sa ating naman, nagkaroon talaga ng misinterpret between TNT management at dito kay Bobby Ray Parks. So, kaya siguro kinakausap ngayon ni Coach Chot dito si Bobby Ray Parks para magkaroon nga siguro ng agreement na yun nga, pagbibigyan siya na magpahinga muna ng 1 year or 1 season, and then pagbalik niya sa TNT management pa rin yung commitment niya. Same thing din do sa, kasi kung sakali man na payagan siya na maglaro sa ibang liga, yun nga yung dating sinabi ko na hindi siya ite-trade sa ibang team kasi yung talagang rights niya is sa TNT, unless kung maghihintay siya nung until 2025 para ma-unrestricted free agency siya na makapili nung gusto talaga niyang koponan.
Bro Kino?
Ayun. Medyo mahirap talaga yung pinasok ni Ray Parks Jr. at sana ang hindi pa naman huli lahat, no? At ayun, maiisip naman siguro yan ni Ray Parks at napag-usapan na rin natin to kahapon na talagang ang parang ang nasa kanya na talaga na kay Ray Parks na. So kung hindi siya kikilos, talagang walang mangyayari, no? At baka talagang manganib na yung kanyang basketball career. So sana makapag-isip ng tama itong si Ray Parks Jr. at may mag-advise sa kanya, no? Tulad ng sinasabi natin kahapon, wala kasi nga nag-a-advise dito kay Ray Parks. Yun siguro yung isang kulang, ano, dahil wala talagang kumakausap kung ano ang tamang dapat gawin ni itong si Bobby Ray Parks Jr. Sayang ang talent niya, no? Kung mahihinto siya sa basketball.
And sa tingin ko ang kailangan ni Ray Parks, si Sir Joey, yung mga player, agent talaga. Kasi sabi nga niya, dapat ang mga basketball players, ang iniintindi lang is maglaro ng basketball. Ang mga kontrata, hayaan na yan sa agent. And bro, ito, honest opinion. Nakikita ko may potential dito si Bro Kino. Abangan nyo yung next agent.
Pero dami ko talaga natutunan dun sa natin
Sobrang
ganun.
lupit. Yep. Agree.
Para akong sponge lang kasi talaga naman tayo, hindi naman tayo batikan sa larangan ng business ng basketball. So, ang masaya lang din, and ayun. So, kay Ray Parks, ganun talaga, papakamot ulo ka na lang talaga. Pero good news naman, ano pa mga good news natin? Bukas, interview natin, 6 p.m. So guys, again, sa mga viewers, tandaan nyo, 6 p.m. kami lagi. Pag wala pa yung
6 p.m.
Bismuth
na?
Cup.
Bro, so pag 6 p.m. na, last 2 minutes podcast na. Ganun.
Yan, 6 p.m. na. Inaabot niya ang TV.
Ang TV. 5:30 yun, di ba? 4:30. Ano ba yung oras yun?
4 p.m. na.
4 p.m.
Ang TV na.
4 p.m.
Ako kasi, pag 5:30 si Mavs time yan eh. 6 p.m. last 2 minutes podcast.
Pero madagdag ko lang, hindi namin binabash si Ray Parks or ayaw namin syempre na makasakit kay Ray Parks. Nagsabi lang kami ng opinion, and alam namin na syempre isa rin sa mga rason ng pag-step away niya sa basketball is iniisip niya yung kanyang nanay na naapektuhan din sa mga bashing na natatanggap nitong si Ray Parks. So, yun lang.
Actually, talagang ewan ko, medyo mailap talaga sa mga basketball fans itong si Ray Parks. Hindi ko alam, dahil sinasabi nga nila may attitude problem, no? Pero kung basketball talent naman ang pag-uusapan, talagang kahanga-hanga naman itong si Ray Parks. Pero hindi ko alam kung bakit yung iba parang hindi na-appreciate yung galing ni Ray Parks, no? Parang sinasabi na ganito lang, mayabang yan, ganyan-ganyan, wala namang napatunayan. Pero actually, sa sarili kong opinion, no, si Ray Parks may napatunayan na kung pag-uusapan natin yung galing sa basketball, no? At yun, mahusay talaga itong si Ray Parks. Ang di ko lang talaga maintindihan sa mga iba kung bakit sinasabi nila na itong si Ray Parks ay hindi naman daw magaling at hindi na-appreciate yung husay ni Ray Parks, no? Dahil siguro sa attitude, pero syempre iba naman yung attitude sa basketball skills. Boleros, naka-Nike ka ng tong sombrero ngayon.
Meron lang ako may kinakausap lang ako.
Pag nakita ni Sir Mike yan, yari ka na naman.
Ang alin, Nike.
Oo, naka-check na naman. Dapat sinusuot natin Puma.
Lagyan ko na nga ng scotch tape yan. Shoutout nga pala kay Sir Mike.
And sa
Good evening.
Puma nga pala.
So, ano pa ba ang mainit na issue ngayon, no? At dito maraming nagtatanong sa ating viewers, NBA, naputol kanina yung usapan natin sa NBA. So, kailan daw makapaglalaro? Kung alam nyo lang daw, si LeBron James.
LeBron. LA Lakers.
May alam ba
Ganda,
kayo kung
LA
kailan
Lakers.
daw?
4 to 6 weeks ata. 1 to 2 months.
Before playoffs.
Before playoffs yan. Si Anthony Davis, tama ba Brody? Workout
Nag-start na
na.
ng workout. Yep.
Siyempre alam naman natin ng Lakers lagi yung um, naghahanda for the playoffs. Abangan nyo na lang kasi ang alam ko magba-buyout na si LaMarcus Aldridge sa si Andre Drummond. Matunog si Drummond na punta sa LA Lakers, leaning to the LA.
Alam ko
Tapos
na buyout na.
Oo.
Na-buyout
Tapos
na si Andre.
si LaMarcus Aldridge magma-Miami, no? Yun ang matunog. Matunog lang guys. Hindi ako si Shams, hindi ako si Woj. Yan matunog.
Balita ko, speaking of Woj, no? May nabasa ako sa Twitter. Yung yung mukhang may banggaan na namang nangyayari, no? At
si bro.
Ito ba yung sinend kahapon ni iSports?
iSports icon.
iSports icon.
iSports icon, no? So, yun, no?
Nasadya ko na yun,
Grabe, no? So, ayun, no? Sa mga, yung may mga Twitter dyan, alam niyo na siguro yun yung tinutukoy namin, no? At mukhang napapalaban na naman itong si Idol Snow Badwa, no? At meron na naman siyang
Ano ba nangyari doon? Sorry, hindi ko nasubaybayan yung yung nangyari.
Yung insider natin ng dyan eh. Maalam dyan eh. Kwento mo kung paano nagsimula at paano May kinig kami kasi hindi ko alam eh. may pasok ako kagabi.
Si Brocky, nasa baybayan niyo eh. Ako, nakita ko lang sa Twitter yan.
Ikaw nga
nakita ko yung simula pero English.
ikaw yung nag-send sa akin eh. Pero ayun nga kasi nga yung naging mainit nga sa yung usapin nung trade deadline diyan sa NBA. At eto nga merong isang sports journalist ba tawag dito na nakapag-tweet na sabi niya na di ko alam kung ano yung eksaktong sinabi pero may pahaging siya dito kay Snow Badwa na dinadaan yata daw ni Snow Badwa sa hindi naman niya pinangalanan si Snow Badwa. Pero parang si Snow
lang ni Snow, no? Sinagot ni Snow.
pero, hindi kasi may mga nagsabi kay Snow na siya daw pinapatamaan. Banggitin na natin ni Sir Nico Ramos na nabanggit nga ni Nico Ramos na ano ba paki-explain mo nga D-Sports.
Teka, hanapin natin yung tweet Balikan natin. Pero habang nahanap ko yung tweet, sige, usap mo na kayo.
Teka lang, may ginagawa din ako.
Mayroon lang akong kachat, may kachat lang ako.
Ayan,
Pero ano to?
Si
winner sa trade deadline, bro. Sports icon.
Ako sa tingin
dami nag-aagos ng sombrero
Bolero kasi eh.
Hindi, ano to sa pagpapagawa kasi tayo.
Sige bro,
Ano to, Victor Oladipo, Miami. Sino lang kapalit? Avery Bradley tsaka Kelly Olynyk. Panalo yun. Hindi naman sa pinapalit. Hindi ko pinapalit si Avery Bradley. Proven defender yan. Pero para hindi mo bitawan si Duncan Robinson o kaya si Tyler Hero. Asking kasi nila si Tyler Hero o si Duncan Robinson makasama. Pero astig.
Pero panalo rin ng Denver kasi nakuha nila si Aaron Gordon. Inaasahan ng Boston sa kanila mapupunta.
Yari no? Kain yun, lineup nun. Kain din.
Pati si Nikola Vucevic na inaasahan din na makukuha ng Boston. Yun. Hindi rin nakuha nila. Nakuha ng Chicago Bulls.
Sino nawala sa Boston? Daniel Tice. Sentro pa nawala. Sa Bulls pa napunta? Sa Bulls napunta eh.
Oo, parehas.
Yun sa Portland, Gary Trent. Nawala. Si
Si ano, Norman
Powell ako,
Powell.
Norman Powell. Ano tingin mo? Patas lang no? Lakas din si Garrett.
Shooter din sa taas yan eh. Pero tingin ko na malakas talaga sa naging trade na yan yung LA Clippers. Kasi ako nila uli si Chris Paul eh. Ay si Rajon Rondo eh.
Oo.
Pero
Pag playoffs nag-aalimaw no? Pag playoffs nag-aalimaw yun.
maiba ako no kanina kapol. Nakakagulat yung ginawa niya no ni iSports sa Icon PH. Bigla na lang,
Sports ka lang yun, bro.
bigla na lang lumitaw no.
Ay, hindi, nabasa ko, nakabagbasa siya. Ako susunod. Pero yung pagpasok niya, yung, si Sir Joey nga, nagulat din eh.
Sa kahapon,
Natawa siya bigla.
kahapon pala no, kung napanood nyo, na-interview namin itong si Troy Reich no at kung mapapanood nyo yung interview, meron siyang sinabi doon na prior to the draft, meron na nga kumausap sa kanyang team na nakakala niya, yun nakukuha sa kanya at nagulat nga siya at Northport ang pumili sa kanya dahil meron na nga kumausap na team na planchado na siya kukunin pero ayun, hindi siya kinuha at Northport nga ang kumuha sa kanya. At ano palagay niyo, meron bang meron bang trade na magaganap?
Ako
Ano ba
unang-una,
yung
I think it happens na mga gano'n na kakausapin yung player na kukunin pero hindi natutuloy. So it happens. Pero kung going back doon sa trade, mukhang may kupunan na nangangailangan ng big man eh.
Sino ba yan?
Ah,
Parang
Sino
token
ba
deck
yan?
siya
Sino
tayo
ba?
na.
Pero matagal pa naman ng
tagal pa yung matagal. Pero kasabi ko nga, may mga bagay kasing pag pinagtagpo, pero hindi tinadhana. Pero kung tinadhana talaga para sa'yo,
Parang
mapupunta
kantayin mo
talaga
na lang kaya parang kantayin na. Pero eto si Mauricio. Pinakawalan na talaga ng ng NLEX. So
Pinakulan na.
parang sayang no.
Judice ako sa
Sa tingin nyo, meron pa tong pwede pa siyang pwede pa siyang kumbaga parang deserve ba niya na makapaglaro pa sa ibang PBA teams?
Tingin ko kukunin siya ng Raynor Shine. Kasi Raynor Shine ang kulang sa sentro ngayon.
Nakita ko yung workout ito ni Mauricio ngayon no at mahusay naman eh.
May edad na rin no? May edad na rin kasi.
Yun ang problema no, 35 na yata siya ngayon no dahil 34 siya last year nung nagpa-draft siya. So, yun ang mahirap doon. Pero at least kahit paano, 'di ba? Sabi nga height is might. So, yung tangkad talaga malaking bagay. At hindi lang talaga siguro 100% itong si Mauricio nung naglaro siya sa bubble no, sa Blackwater. At hopefully mabigyan pa siya ng pagkakataon. Sayang naman yung laki niya.
Pero wait, pinakawalan na ng NLEX si Mauricio.
Hindi na yata papipirma yun talaga. Kasi nabasa ko pa yung IG story niya na gano'n nga na parang akala daw ng iba tapos na yung kanyang career sa basketball. Pero sabi niya nag-uumpisa pa lang siya.
Pero di ba may 3x3 team ang NLEX? Wala silang balak na doon paglaruin si Mauricio?
I think merong mga players nang inano yung NLEX eh. Pero di ko alam no. Sana kasama siya doon. At speaking of 3x3, yung mga film natin na hindi nakapag-complete ng documents, mapapanood natin sa 3x3 ano, sila Jason Brickman, sila Jerry Maigray at yung latest ngayon no, si Brandon Ganuelas Rosser ng Phoenix na shoutout no kay Sir Brandon Rosser, kausap natin siya kanina at kasalukuyan siyang nasa quarantine. So ayun no, magandang balita 'yan at sabi niya next year sisiguraduhin na daw niya na makukumpleto yung kanyang documents at makapaglalaro siya at makakapagpa-draft na siya sa PBA.
Ayan, kaya nga ba sinasabi ni Brody na ikaw ang future agent ng
Wala tayong source.
sources eh.
Wala tayong source. Kumokopya lang tayo sa mga sa mga balita.
Pero abangan nyo next year. Yeah, kausap na si Brandon Rosser. Next na niyan, kupunan na ang kausap ni Brokino.
Sana no. Hindi, pero sa mga viewers natin ngayon, no, talagang isa 'yon sa pangarap ko no na maging scout at actually nung sinimulan ko yung Provinciano God Skills, nasa isip ko na 'yan. At gusto ko nga maka-discover ng mga batang mga player na hopefully maging future ng Philippine basketball. So, ayun no at sana hopefully at syempre sa tulong ng mga kapatid ko dito sa Last 2 Minutes Podcast, mangyayari yun. No? At etong team na to, no, binuo to. Walang iwanan to. Kahit na laging
At
lasing tong si Sports Icon.
yung sa ano naman, ako naman, bilang naka-live ka pa, di ba bro?
Alay pa ako.
Kung yung mga viewers po na may i-refer sa akin na mga bata within 19 to 20 years old, pwede ko silang i-feature sa mga vlogs na gagawin ko, which is the Pinoy Prodigy. So, yun, bibigyan natin ng focus yung mga up-and-coming local hoopers natin. Local or Phil-Am. So, ang mission natin is mabigyan sila ng exposure. So, at may hatid sa inyo kung gaano kagaling ang mga batang Pinoy sa larangan ng basketball.
Yun, abangan nyo yun ha. Yung Prodigy ni Boleros Lifestyle, no? Sa mga viewers natin ngayon, sa mga naka-follow sa akin, pakisuportahan po yung YouTube channel ni Boleros Lifestyle at yung kanyang bagong segment sa kanyang channel na The Prodigy, no? At dito nyo makikilala yung mga up and coming nating mga bata na malay natin, no, maging a future ng Philippine basketball. At isisingit ko lang, shoutout at maraming salamat kay Ma'am Sheila, Miss Sheila Salaysay at sa kanyang ipapadala at syempre yung may-ari, no, si Sir Rick Villasoto ng Baller Shirt. Yung may-ari ng Baller Shirt at sa mga gustong ng magagandang damit, check nyo yung Baller Shirt, yung Facebook page nila. At sila nga rin po yung magiging isa sa official outfitter ng Pilipinas Basement Super Cup. At napakaganda po yung mga t-shirt na yan. Excited na kami masuot. At maraming salamat Sir Rick Villasoto. Yun, si Sir Rick Villasoto ng Baller Shirt. Maraming salamat sa iyo.
Maganda yan, sabay-sabay nating suotin, no? Para ano.
Baka magmukha tayong doon, Voltes 5, ano? Isang red, isang yellow.
Nasa Zoom naman eh. Nasa Zoom, di ba?
Tsaka no? Sana Puma.
Yung mag-uniform din ng cup, di ba? Napapansin naman ng mga viewers lahat tayo, naka-cup eh.
Marami kaming plano actually, mga merchandise, no, t-shirt. At yun na nga, masisimulan na, no? At ulitin ko ulit, maraming salamat ulit, Sir Rick Villasoto, dahil sa kanya na nagmula siya na nagsabi na igagawa kami ng logo namin ng Last 2 Minutes Podcast at yung Baller Shirt. Maraming salamat Sir Rick Villasoto. At marami pa kaming plano, no? Abangan nyo po yan, no? At nag-uumpisa pa lang po ang Last 2 Minutes Podcast. So sa mga basher namin, maraming salamat sa inyo, no? At isa kayo sa mga mas nagpapalakas sa amin, no? At hindi namin tinatanggap na negatibo yung mga binabato yung mga negatibo sa amin at lalo pa kaming lumalakas at magpapalakas pa.
Long-term plan para sa amin. Sabi, hindi lang nagsasalita si Brody, pero sabi nga ni Bro Kino, yun ang matabang utak sa atin.
Hindi, nagkameron ako ng realization after nung pag-uusap natin with Sir Joey na tama yun, wag magmadali. Magpahinog muna. And talagang tumatak yun sa akin na yung grupo na to, hindi naman tayo nagmamadali, hindi naman tayo nakikipag-unahan sa mga manlalaro, hindi naman tayo yung may connection na agad-agad. Ano lang, unti-unti lang.
Saka huwag yung isipin na nakikipagkompetensya kami sa iba. Wala sa amin sa isip yun, no? Hindi namin iniisip yun na makipagkompetensya sa iba. At ang totoo nga niyan, lahat ng mga YouTuber dito sa Pilipinas, basketball content creator, ay sinusuportahan ng aming grupo, no? At sila lang yung hindi pumapansin sa amin. Pero ayun, no? At maraming salamat sa patuloy na suporta na natatanggap namin. Syempre lalo-lalo na rito kay Jack Arbano, kay Kuya Koy, at dito kay Anthony Janoras, no? Bago na si Jaymar De La Rosa. Ito yung mga talagang mga halos pag nagla-live tayo hindi nawawala, no? Kumbaga sa classroom, ito yung mga valedictorian at mga first honor na walang absent. Perfect attendance, no? At hopefully mabigyan ni Boleros Lifestyle to ng mga giveaway.
Pa-contest ulit tayo, bro.
Ayun.
Mga ganun.
Ganda daw ng cup mo eh. Mukhang gustong arbo rin.
Alin? Ay, hindi. Ako...
Sige, send your address kay Boleros.
Pagdating sa mga cup, kay Kuya ko nga.
Pero teka, ba't nawala si Kobe? Sa likod mo?
Tol? Scotch tape lang kasi papa-frame ko.
Natanggal si Kobe. Ayun, no? At Any message mga brother, no? At lumagpas na tayo sa ating time limit at ayun, maraming salamat muli, no? At talagang taos-puso po akong nagpapasalamat sa inyo. At hindi lang dito sa mga kapatid ko sa Last 2 Minutes Podcast, no? Actually, matagal ko na talagang pangarap na makabuo ng grupo at salamat nga ako at nakilala ko itong si D Sports TV, ano? At napag-usapan namin na itayo nga itong Last 2 Minutes Podcast. At syempre, nakahanap kami ng mga solid na mga kapatid.
Kagaya ko sa
Lalo yung
Ako ang
ice
pinakasabit lang
Ice
dito.
mga solid na
Pinakasabit lang dito. Ako ang
Oo.
pinakasabit. Napakababa.
Ano yan eh?
Hindi ko naramdaman na sobrang isa pag huwag na nating ipagkaila pagdating sa pag-YouTube. Kayo malalaki na yung subscribers. So, ako
Totoo yung
talaga.
kasabihan na ano, no,
Talaga.
yung mapapatunayan mo yung isang solid na kapatid kapag binigyan ka muna ng sakit ng ulo sa umpisa.
Yung parang kabote ba, bro?
Ganun ang ginawa ko.
Hindi. Ano lang yun. Biro lang yun. Wala naman sa amin yun. Pero itong si Bolero
Doon na ba si
Style.
Sports Icon? No?
Sa mga viewers namin.
Wala pa.
Sa,
Bigay niyo yung kwento. Total, Sabado naman eh.
si Sports Icon naman. Ito, ano natin parang saling-pusa lang talaga.
Magulat ka, biglang nagtanong yan. Wala akong magulat.
Hindi, ito si Sports Icon. Ano talaga to? Isa to sa mga ang tagal ligawan, actually. Niligawan pa namin to bago mapasama dito sa Last 2 Minutes Podcast. Tapos ganito lang din pala ibibigay. Hindi, biro lang yun, no? At nakakalimutan ko ito yung sasabihin ko, no? So, maraming salamat ulit.
Maraming source si Sports Icon.
Ano kasi kami, may kanya-kanya kaming expertise, no? Tulad ni D-Sports. At kapag national team gilas ang pag-uusapan at mga prospect, si D-Sports talaga ang hahanapin nyo. No? Though di ko naman sinasabi na wag manood sa iba, no? Pero kapag may update tungkol sa Gilas Pilipinas at sa mga upcoming prospect natin, D-Sports TV yun. No? At kapag naman Boleros Lifestyle, syempre, NBA yan. Walking encyclopedia ng NBA. Pero ngayon may ginagawa na siya, no? Yung The Prodigy nga. At upcoming mga talent din ipapalabas na ni Boleros Lifestyle yan. No? Hindi lang basta mga highlights, kundi may interview niya yung mga bata. Yung lalo-lalo
Yung mga
na,
ano,
yung mga mula sa
shoutout ko na
probinsya.
yung mga nagti-TikTok. Kung gusto nyo i-collab, pwede rin.
Then ito si Sports Icon PH. Ano to?
TikTok din.
Ano to?
TikTok din.
Ano kalakasan mo bro?
Yun.
Sports Icon? Ano yung kalakasan mo?
Nasa loob yan, insider yan eh.
Malakas uminom. Pero yun, no, marami pa kayong aabangan sa aming mga YouTube channel, no? At sa mga naiinis nga sa amin, no? At hindi naman nawawala yan, mga basher namin, no? Hindi nawawala sa aming mga
Sabi
comments.
nga
No?
nila, pag naiinis sa'yo, lalo mong inisin.
Pero shoutout dito, no? Kay Fred Takang. Lagi siya nagko-comment dito sa aking mga content, no? At though may mga negative na kino-comment sa akin, ang magandang ang mahalaga doon, naka-follow siya sa akin, no? At lahat ng video ko pinapanood niya. Si Fred Takang, no? Shoutout sa iyo. At naka-block daw siya kay D-Sports. Oh, naka-block daw sa iyo.
Hindi ko maalala kung bakit or kung naka-block ka ba talaga, pero shoutout sa'yo.
Parang ko-comment din sa akin yan eh.
Actually, mutika na rin sa akin yan eh. Pero, yun. Ano naman tayo, nire-respeto naman natin yung mga opinion nila. At, ayun, Boleros Lifestyle, kanina ka pa yata.
Mayroon lang ako sinachat mo.
Hindi na natapos yung chat mo na yan, ha. So, ayun, maraming salamat. At, anong oras na ba? Time check, 9:00 na. Kailangan na naming, tawag na kami ng aming mga kanya-kanyang boss namin, no? At, dito sa Last 2 Minutes Podcast, lahat kami boss. Pero sa labas ng Last 2 Minutes Podcast, may boss kaming iba. Mapapalo na nga kami.
Sa last 2 minutes podcast, kayo mga viewers, kayo ang bida.
Anthony Janoras, actually, nag-email na kami dito kay Coach Babs. At hopefully, mapagbigyan niya tayo, no? At ma-interview no, si Coach Babs. Ano?
Fan club ang presidente lang ni Coach.
Sana mapansin tayo, no? Actually, marami tayong mga sikat na gusto namin interview, no? Mikey Reyes. Ayan, talagang sumisikat na yan sa YouTube. At inimbitahan na rin namin yan. Nag-send na rin kami sa kanya ng message na sana ma-interview namin si Mikey Reyes. Sana mapagbigyan kami, no? Yung mga sumisikat na.
Ako naman bro, si W Gameplay. Sana. Isa sa mga idolo ko talaga nung nag-start ako.
Hopefully, hindi, madali lang yan, no? Si Warren Salvacion. Kaya lang, di ba nag-message ka ba doon?
Hindi bro. Dati pa nung nag-start ako.
Ah,
Na-block ata ako eh.
pero ngayon, baka
Hindi ko alam.
pansinin
Hindi ko
ka na niya, si Idol Warren. Halos lahat ng mga kami rito, si W Gameplay ang naging inspirasyon sa paggawa ng YouTube, no? Pero ang idol namin si Snowbadwa sa klase ng reporting. So may conflict.
Mag-guest din ng
May
Ice
conflict.
Sports Zone.
Sa mga viewers pala, hintayin nyo kung gusto nyo makilala yung mga last 2 minutes podcast, boys.
Ayan pala.
Nalalatag ako sa
Oo. Ako pwede mo ulitin yung sa akin, no? Kasi yung sa akin,
Hindi, pwede tayo ng live ganito. Lahat tayo ako magbabato ng tanong. Pero magbigay ka muna ng alak. Para masaya-saya ang kwentuhan.
ay, umiikot yung
Inom
baso.
tayo.
Umiikot yung baso.
Oo,
Tsaka yung
okay,
online pizza bro.
Oo.
Nasa na yung pizza.
Okay.
Nangako na Michigan ka tapos pizza.
Anyway guys, nagagalit na yung boss ko.
Yung boss ko rin, tinatawag na ako, no? Maraming salamat sa mga nakasama natin ngayon, no? At
Salamat sa mga
wrap up lang ng natin ngayong episode, no, sa mga hindi nakaabot. At naging guest nga namin itong si Sir Joey Ramos, ang agent at representative ni Joshua Monson at isa ring FIBA agent. At sa mga nagtatanong sa mga bagong pasok, tinanong namin si Ray Parks kung posible pa bang makapaglaro sa Japan B-League. Posible, no? Pero mahirap para kay Ray Parks dahil unang-una kailangan nga ng sa Japan B-League hindi pwede yung dual passport holder si Ray Parks, dalawa ang kanyang passport, no? So pero may chance naman, pero yun nga mahirap. At NBA, napag-usapan namin kahit paano dito kay Boleros Lifestyle, ang walking encyclopedia ng NBA at mga PBA trades, rumor. Asahan nyo po sa mga next episode po namin ng Last 2 Minutes Podcast. At sa isang araw po, no, dahil bukas guest namin si Frankie Johnson. So maraming salamat. At Kuya Koy, Anthony Janoras, J. Mar De La Rosa, Jack Arbano at Tadeus Basketball. Maraming salamat sa inyo at nakasama namin muli kayong sa aming live ngayon, no, dito sa Last 2 Minutes Podcast. Ako nga pala si Kino ng From the Sideline.
D-Sports TV, paalam.
Ako yung ultimate bolero. Ang Boleros Lifestyle, paalam.
Hey, what's up sa inyo mga katatak? This is Sports Icon PH. Signing off.
Itaktak mo. Itaktak ko.